Roger, welcome back to Floor Talk, especially here on Earth Day.
Judy, thank you. It's great to see you again. Thanks for having us in.
Thank you. So Roger, you just rang the opening bell celebrating Earth Day. So let's talk about Earth Week, actually. Why is Earth Week such an important moment for GE Vernova, and how does it tie into your sustainability goals?
So for GE Vernova, like Earth Day is our favorite day of the year, if I'm being honest, and there's nowhere we'd rather be celebrating it than with you here in the New York Stock Exchange and the honor to ring the bell this morning. And I go back, we're really celebrating two things this week. We're celebrating Earth Day, Earth Week, and a year ago we were here ringing the bell and becoming a separately traded company after 135 years. And we made two commitments. Our CEO, Scott Strazik, when we were here a year ago, we committed to be a force for good for the stock exchange and your investors, and we committed to be a force for good for the planet. And I'll let Scott speak to the investing part of it and the financial returns. I think those speak for themselves. But on Earth Day, we take stock of how we're doing for the planet. And we think about it in a few ways. We track our performance just like we do on the financial side. We look at electrification. I think the only company on the stock exchange that puts electrification at core to sustainability, and putting tens of gigawatts of capacity on the grid last year, more than half of that in underserved communities around the world. And then decarbonization. The electrification we put on the grid helped lower the trajectory of climate change emissions. So we're helping to improve climate change while we're putting more capacity on the grid. We're trying to be better stewards of our own operations through conservation. And it all comes down to people and enabling people to thrive and how we take accountability for our commitments, our communities. We made a big announcement here on the stock exchange floor about green spaces and how we're lifting up our employees. So this is the intersection of Wall Street and planet Earth. And so we like to track both of those and take stock this week of the impacts we have on the planet.
Now, you mentioned it has been a year since you became a standalone company. So tell me, what's changed during this year?
You and I started to talk about this, but some of the things a year ago we were starting to talk about have now become, I think, more cemented. There's this notion of a doubling of demand for electricity. Pretty much everybody in the world is recognizing there's a doubling of demand. They may debate the year or the date, but we're going to see a doubling of demand. We talked about data centers and artificial intelligence. That's now much more cemented as a demand driver, among other things. We look at energy poverty, something that our Energy Secretary, Chris Wright, has talked about. How do we serve underserved communities with electricity? Always a passion of ours. And then 25% of the world's populations went to the polls last year, not just the United States, but all over the world. So for a global company, we're seeing the whole world kind of elect people who are focused on economic development, energy security, be pragmatic about energy. So these have all been headwinds we've been working to address, but we also think we're proud of not only presenting ourselves as a company in our first year, but some of these challenges. So looking forward, next 12 months, probably a little harder than the last 12 months, but we're excited about doing really hard things. We're excited about acting with urgency, and we're excited about bringing some relentless optimism. So we take seriously the challenges ahead. We think we've proven ourselves a bit, but we're only looking forward, we're not looking back. And so we're gearing up for year two and really excited about the challenges we're gonna address coming up.
Now, you have a global brand campaign commemorating your first anniversary. So what do energy of change and relentless optimism mean for GE Vernova?
This is actually really personal to us. It's personal to our CEO, Scott Strazik. It's personal to me. It's personal to most of our employees. We're in a space of the intersection of energy, sustainability, climate change. And when we talk to youth leaders, when we talk to college students, high school students, people who are early in their career, they don't hear a lot of optimistic messages. It's a pretty bleak message about the future. And it's not only a bleak message, but it causes mental health issues. It causes depression. And we see the world a little differently. We don't have rose-colored glasses, we call them safety goggles. And so we feel very seriously about being a voice of relentless optimism. And we think it's sincere because we see the opportunity for innovation and technology to be part of the future and to really solve for these issues. And it's not just about solving for these issues. We want to inspire students and young leaders to kind of dedicate their careers to this. We think there's exciting careers ahead for decades to come for people to be part of this solution. We just have a big partnership with MIT where we're going to be in their backyard, they're in our backyard, and we're collaborating a lot together. So we want to deliver this message of optimism. And the energy of change tries to reflect that. We talk a lot about the energy transition. That's fine. I'm not really sure I know what it means or we would agree on it. It suggests there's winners and losers. We think energy at this point is all about addition, not subtraction. And the sense of what we've been doing for 135 years, solving, building, innovating, learning from mistakes and making better. This is the energy of change. This is how we improve for the future. Again, not rose-colored glasses, but safety goggles.
So now, Roger, you've made moves in U.S. manufacturing. How does that support your innovation and sustainability efforts?
Yeah, you can't talk about GE Vernova without talking about manufacturing. That is our legacy. 135 years, Schenectady, New York, where we started. We have this wonderful factory today where people are building the world's most sophisticated generators next to the largest wind turbines being made in the US. So we have a legacy of manufacturing. And when we talk about, everybody knows we need more electrons on the grid. Well, we focus on the machines that put the electrons on the grid, 25% of the world's energy. But even stepping beyond that, we focus on the people and how do we train the people who can operate the machines or build the machines that put the electrons on the grid. So manufacturing is core to everything we do. We have 18,000 people in 18 factories in the United States. That's just a percentage of our global supply chain. And probably our top priority as leaders in the company is how do we grow our supply chain to meet the demand, to address the capacity. It's our number one issue. So we've announced $9 billion in capital investments in the next few years for both manufacturing and our research labs. This year alone, we've already announced $600 million in investments in US manufacturing. Just one example, Greenville, South Carolina, we make the world's most efficient gas turbines. $300 million of investments there, hundreds of new jobs. We're taking 500 new heavy-duty machines within the same space, going from 18 gigawatts of capacity to 16 gigawatts to 20 gigawatts to maybe 30 gigawatts in the next few years. And so just reinventing manufacturing a core, that's what the world needs. It needs the electrons, it needs the machines, but it also needs the people and the economic development so that it all comes together, and that's what we're all about.
And finally, Roger, tell me, what's next for GE Vernova as a global demand for electricity continues to rise?
We're really excited about the first year. As I said, we're anticipating the second year, maybe a little harder than the first, but we're excited about that. We want to rise to the challenge and do really hard things. We think that's a chance to really show ourselves and what we're all about. But we're hugely optimistic, and I'm personally optimistic. I've been in this space for 30 years, and me and my colleagues, to the extent we've been frustrated for 30 years, what we've said is we need investments at scale, whether that's for energy, sustainability, climate change, prosperity. We need investments at scale, and we just haven't had them in the past few decades. With this doubling of demand, with this electrification supercycle, this focus on prosperity, those investments are coming. We're seeing them, they're actually here. And so the more we can drive energy, the more we can solve for climate change, the more we can solve for decarbonization, solve for sustainability, lift up prosperity through economic development. So this is incredibly exciting time to be at the start of the super cycle. Well, there'll be some challenges. We're going to rise. It gives us a kick in our step to address them, but we're looking forward to what comes at the end of this.
All right, well, Roger, it's always wonderful to talk with you. Happy Earth Day.
Judy, thanks very much. Thanks. There's nowhere we'd rather be than right here today.
Thank you.